Hey, and welcome back to Concrete Conversations. We've had a bit of a brief sabbatical for one reason or another, but I suppose we're back now with episode 11. But as I've not got 11 fingers on my hands, we'll call it season 2, episode 1. We never really went away, but of course we've missed all of September and all of October, so I suppose we've missed a few little landmarks that usually happen in those months, such as the first day at school photos and the last day at school photos. Shocking. And of course we've missed Halloween. Ooh.
Ow! Cut.
Seamless and scary, but don't forget this Oscar winner. I want to tell you my secret now.
Okay. I see concrete people. In your dreams? While you're awake?
Terrible situation to be in. You don't want to be seeing them. We've got some great content coming up over the next few episodes, so please don't forget to subscribe. It's really easy to do. Just hit the subscribe button once you finish watching the episode. And of course, the weather's starting to get really cold now, so make sure you're doing your ice checks, and also don't forget to drain down your mixers at the end of the night. Got a really great episode for you today. I got someone really cool to be, so let's go and get in the car and get on our way. So we've not got far to go today. In fact, we're only just round the corner, but every time I head out in this direction, it brings out the true Midlands in my accent, because today we're heading out to the Black Country, Wolverhampton to be precise. See if you can guess where we're going. Drum roll, please. So I've arrived here today at Britannia Concrete, nestled in the heart of Wolverhampton, part of the Gill Group, started by Raj Gill 15 years ago, and I'm here to meet the guys here and see how their operation works. So, welcome to Britannia Concrete, tucked away on a private but huge site in Wolverhampton, and is one part of the Gill Group, started by Raj Gill 15 years ago. Here's Raj, standing proudly, and rightly so, as the Gill Group now occupies a huge footprint, and includes not only Britannia Concrete and its batching plants, but a civil engineering arm, a plant hire company, repair bays for their vehicles, and of course, PACTS, which stands for Pavement and Airfield Concrete Testing, occupying state-of-the-art laboratories and highly trained technicians, and focuses on mixed designs and strength and structures of concrete. It's obviously the concrete side we're here to see, so we'll obviously get a look at that. And alongside a fleet of 8 mixers, 4 volumetrics and 4 drum mixers, Britannia is one of the leading suppliers of premium quality BSI ready mix and mix on-site concrete in the Midlands. And by serving both commercial and domestic operations, they are known for their expertise, reliability and uncompromising quality. So from small DIY jobs to complex infrastructure installations, Britannia has the West Midlands covered with precision, professionalism and care. Let's meet one of the guys who makes this smooth operation tick. So I'm here in the offices of Britannia Concrete with commercial manager Alex Talbot. He's going to tell us a little bit about the business. So you look like a seasoned concrete man. Tell us about your journey into this game.
So I started off as a driver working at a mortar plant to start with.
Right,
so
okay.
ready-mix mortar was where I cut my teeth. Eventually, as you go from mortar, you move into concrete, the grey gold. And yeah, I worked for a small owner driver for one of the sort of big names, and was there for a while. Got a lot of experience with sort of self-compacting concrete, things like Ingenious Screeds, and concrete in general. Spent a good few years there learning the ropes there. I went back into mortar for a little bit, helped open up a plant in Bromsgrove. They just took it over, and that was very much all hands on deck, getting everything started. So you were running around doing a bit of everything, and then moved on from there. Did a few more bits and bobs, always sort of within the construction sort of sector. But lo and behold, I found myself back with concrete.
It's got a pull, hasn't it?
It's got elastic on me. Every time I try and go away, it pulls me back in.
So why Britannia then? Tell us a bit about Britannia itself.
So it's unlike anywhere I've worked before, in the sense that there's everything here. So I started as a driver. They took me on as a driver. Obviously, I've worked my way through. I've turned my hands to a bit of everything, driving loading shovels, batching, shipping and logistics and stuff. But yeah, Britannia they can handle everything. So you've got trucks that can handle big pours, you've got trucks that can handle small pours. We've got our own concrete testing facilities on site, we've got our own garage facilities on site. Everything really that keeps the wheels turning as such. So, you've got concrete batching, you've got your volumetric side of things, you've got your testing, you've got your truck repairs. So everything can be sorted sort of in-house. And within the Guild Group, who's obviously the parent company for all these companies,
Right,
they've got their own civil sides of things as well. So they do a lot of civil engineering work as well for places like airports, motorways and all that sort of things. So under the umbrella of the Guild Group, we're just one string to a massive bow that keeps the world turning, as they say.
Wheel and wheels turning.
That's it.
So it sounds like a pretty all-inclusive operation here. So if you're already at this stage, what's next for Britannia Concrete?
I think just consistency is obviously the best thing that you want. You want good, consistent, strong results, and we're in a good position here where we can get that. But obviously, bigger is always better in stuff like this. As long as the big uns are coming in, the money's coming in, everybody's still in a job, and so we've just took on a couple of new clients, one of which is quite a large one, just down the road from here. That was one of the first ones that I got in when I started. So we're just looking to carry on with that really, and build off the foundations. Excuse the pun. Build off the foundations. You've got to build off the foundations. So we've got some big names coming on board. We've got some big projects coming on board. We're doing a lot of out of hours work as well. So we're actually probably one of the biggest out of hours companies in the Midlands. We've done over 500 jobs this year alone. So it's just expanding on what we're good at. We're lucky that we've got some incredible operators. We've got some incredible batching and technical people. I'm not spitting my teeth out. But it all works in synergy and helps everybody grow as a whole, which is fantastic, really.
Right. So you're looking to expand in truck size and people as well?
In a perfect world, yeah, give me 10 trucks out there and give me another 10 people and stuff like that. I'd love that. But, that's probably a couple of years away yet. But, it's where I want to sort of aim to. I'd like to essentially turn Britannia into almost like a household name. Okay. So, you've obviously got your major suppliers and stuff in the areas, but there's not many independents that can do what we do and can offer what we offer. So I'd like that if someone was working in with us sort of our area, if they were needing concrete, that we'd be one of the first names that jump to their minds. So
yeah, cool. So I know this area quite well myself. Obviously, I live around the corner, so it's obviously heavily populated with small concrete operators and national fleets as well. Yeah. So I suppose your goal then is to get Britannia to the top of that pile.
Absolutely, that'd be the ideal situation. Like I say, with all the other companies that we've got, with the fleet maintenance, the testing and things like that, I think it really gives us a strong foothold into what we can do and what we can offer, which sort of sets us apart from a lot of the more independent guys. So it's really sort of utilising everything as much as we can and then driving home results.
Brilliant. Alex, thanks very much. I'm really interested in that concrete testing thing you were just talking about. So if we can pop over and have a look at that'd be great.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Brilliant. Thanks, mate.
No worries.
On the way over to the PAX facility, Alex took me through Gervinder's busy sales office. There he is. And as expected,
hello Britannia, on-site concrete, Gervinder's
busy. Past their vehicle repair bay, which, as you can see, is very well set up, and then through a secret door.
So we keep PQX in stock. This is a complete rapid set cement, gains strength ridiculously quick. It's used for things like airports, motorways, anything where you need to get the road closures open as quickly as possible. This is the stuff that you need. We keep it separately, obviously, so it doesn't get mixed up with everything else, but we can also do custom blends of cements as well that go into the volumetrics. So say if you need to mix with GGBS in, we can run the cement and the GGBS through the plant, so you've got the right dosage. It's then put into these ton bags. We put them all up on the stilts, and then when it comes to use it, you just put the ton bag in the back of the volumetric and you're ready to go on site. We've also got which is an even faster and even stronger rapid setting option. Gill Civils use that predominantly for their own projects, but we can offer it as long as the proviso is that we lay it for them as well, because it's such a delicate process.
So despite the top secrecy, I was considering telling you all about myself, but it turns out Alex is a former professional wrestler. Here's the proof.
Referee warning him about the power slam.
So he would undoubtedly kick the shit out of me if I did, so I'll keep quiet. Shh.
So here we are at the Pack Lab, and the guys are all ready to show us how they test their concrete for strength and design. But first, we need some sample concrete, and that concrete is delivered from a loaded truck. Luckily, I'm right next door, and totally unscripted. And as if by magic, we've got some concrete we can test. Now the guys here are going to show us examples of the multiple tests they do on concrete, so I'll speed the film up and explain as we go. So the first test is to test the air content of the concrete, and it's done by filling a vessel that can be pressurised and is filled in such a way to try and best replicate the way the concrete would be laid on site. So it's filled in 3 equal layers, each layer prodded with a rod 25 times, to simulate the tamping process on site, and then tapped with a rubber mallet to remove the air pockets that this leaves. Once full, the vessel is smoothed off, the lid is placed on, creating an airtight layer around the concrete. They then syringe water in through the Pepcot fittings until it can't take any more addition, and then air is pumped in to ensure a solid seal and no air pockets in the concrete. Pressure readings are then taken and recorded. Next, we move on to the slump test. The reason for the slump test is to determine the workability of the concrete, to measure its consistency, and therefore to ensure the concrete is the right mix and suitable for the proper jobs it's sent to. We carry out this test by filling the slump cone, also known as the Abrams cone, with 3 equal levels of concrete, just like the air test, and with each level poured, prodded 25 times with a rod to simulate the tamping process. Once the cone is full and smoothed off, it's then lifted vertically and the concrete will slump downwards. We can then measure the vertical drop from the top of the original size of the cone down to the top of the slumped concrete. This measurement is called the slump value. The higher the measurement, the more workable the concrete is, or the more free-flowing. So a low number would be suitable for a dry mix, such as pavements, and a higher number would be more suitable for a highly flowable mix, like a self-compacting concrete. Again, the results are recorded and we move on to the final part, which is the cube test. The cube moulds are filled in exactly the same way as the air and the slump test, and then the cubes are allowed to cure for different periods of time before tested in the laboratory. We did a very similar experiment in episode 9 with the concrete company, if you remember. Just for information, any leftover concrete can be moulded by Britannia into Lego blocks for selling on to customers. All good, Sanjeev? Right, let's get inside.
So now here in Packs with Sanjeev, he's going to take us through a process of cube testing bit by bit and see how it works.
In case you didn't notice, you met Sanjeev outside, and I'm sure he was very glad to get back in the warm. Sanjeev starts the cube test by testing all the cubes are uniform in size. Then he records their weight in water around 18 degrees. And again, as we've mentioned before, around 18 degrees and in water is the best curing conditions for concrete. Again, all recorded. He then painstakingly dries off all of the cubes to ensure they're dry before crushing, and then reweighed so we know the concrete weighs the same wet or dry, and then puts them in the crushing machine and lets Newton force do its thing. When the concrete finally fails, the machine stops applying pressure and those maximum numbers are recorded. As you can see, this cube failed at a reading of around 45. Which is way above the level needed for the concrete just tested. Sanjeev also checks the failure lines, which you can just see on the film, match up to an expected failure trait and not something unexpected, as per these charts. Concrete's labelled, the results are taken, and everybody's happy. The customers are getting concrete that's more than good enough for what they need, And Britannia know they're putting the correct ratios of water, sand, cement and aggregate into all of their concrete, meaning they can maximise their profit margin while minimising their carbon footprint and material usage. All good, Sanjeev? Excellent. And there you go. Well, there's many people delivering concrete in this area, whether it's collecting a load from somewhere or batching it themselves, but the painstaking and meticulous levels that Britannia Concrete go to above and beyond that norm, and of course the all-encompassing coverage of the Guild Group to cover all aspects of your project make Britannia Concrete second to none in this area. Whether it's the ability to deliver meticulously spec'd concrete on their volumetric mixers, and equally the same or in large pours on their barrel mixers, coupled with the testing they do on our outside the norm concrete, like the air testing as we saw to ensure there's no air bubbles in there for frost damage, the slump testing which ensures different batches of concrete at constant quality and strength, and of course the cube test which was crucial for ensuring the compressive strength of the concrete, all work hand in hand to enhance Britannia's scope. They always have 8 trucks working due to the repair bay. They can supply you basic concrete for a shed footing, rapid setting concrete when time is of the essence, as well as rent you the plant for a massive project alike. But be sure Britannia Concrete can cover all of your needs, and the all-round efficiency and reliability of Britannia Concrete, including their ability to pour late night and 24/7, is probably the reason why they poured close on 150,000 cubic metres of concrete last year for Britannia alone, meaning all 8 of their trucks were doing an average of 7 full loads per day, which is phenomenal really, but when you're well backed, driven, passionate and have all the right people like Britannia do, you can see why they get such good results. So a massive thank you to all at Britannia Concrete for having me on site today. Of course, Govinda, Sanjeev, the rest of the guys down in the lab, and obviously Alex Talbot for showing me around. Brilliant company, brilliant people, extremely driven and passionate, wanting to get themselves to the top of the pile, and also a massive goal of becoming a household name in the West Midlands. But from what I've seen today, that won't take long. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining me, and thanks again for Britannia for having me on site. Yet again, another example of how you use barrels and volumetrics and plant and science and everything to enhance your offering and also enhance the customer experience. So whatever you're looking for, concrete-wise or civils in the West Midlands area, definitely give Alex a call. Now, just to finish, you picked up in the episode that Alex obviously wants to make Britannia a household name. Well, obviously, I want to do the same with Concrete Conversations as well. So make sure you subscribe and let me put it in a way that maybe Alex and one or two of you may understand.
Well, I'll tell you something, brother. All you Hulkamaniacs need to subscribe. What you gonna do when Concrete Conversations runs wild on you?
Exactly. See you next time.